welcome everybody to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All, the show that is for Carolina Panthers fans by Carolina Panthers fans. We appreciate you spending every Friday evening, the start of your weekend, right here with the C3 Panthers Podcast. If you would like to be a part of the conversation that we're going to have here tonight, jump in and join via the Streamyard. I have pinned the link to the top of the YouTube and the Facebook chat. It's also in the description of the YouTube and Facebook chat. And we appreciate y'all, man. We'd like to be able to start your weekend out the right way. The Carolina Panthers are not in the playoffs, but there is always brand new things to attend to on the docket when it comes to Panthers news and just overall opinion on these Carolina Panthers. You already know I would never do this without my dogs, the C3 Legion, on which we ride. First up, my man, you know him, you love him. He might tell you to shut the hell up. It's Panther Pickle. Pickle, welcome back to the Free For All, brother.
What's up, Cody? There is Panther news. You don't know what that is? Y'all stay tuned and you'll find out.
Yes, sir. They call that burying the lead. Good job, Pickle. Great job. Next up, my man, you know him, you love him. He is the brand ambassador for the famed C3 Legion. You know him and love him. It's D's Ill Skills. What's up, D's?
What is going on, Cody? I am fired up for another Friday free-for-all. We had an exciting wildcard weekend last weekend. A lot of good games on. I didn't pick all of them right. I don't know if you did or not, Cody. I don't remember. I did miss a few. A little disappointed in the Packers' performance for one. Thought they were going to show a little better and not look as injured and wounded as they did in the playoffs against the Eagles. But looking forward to this weekend. We've got some great football coming up, and not to mention the College National Championship on Monday. So just tons of stuff for us to talk about here on the Free For All tonight. And, of course, what are these Carolina Panthers going to do moving forward, Cody? I'm ready to get it on, so let's roll.
Let's roll, man. You know, it's going to be a great show. We have a bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about. Bryce Young, is he the comeback player of the year? What defensive player would you like to trade for at all, if any? Dude, it's going to be fun as hell. Next up, let me welcome in my guy, Jake the Snake, back to the free-for-all. Jake, I know you didn't catch any fish today, but at least we get a free-for-all, right, brother?
All right. Oh, and I got to spend time with my dad, man. It wasn't a loss of a day, man. Anytime you can spend time with family and shit, man, you never know when it's your time, bro. But anytime I can spend a Friday night with y'all, man, I'm always happy. And also prayers up to everybody affected in California with them fires still. I'm praying for y'all.
Yep, absolutely. Everyone affected by the fires and everyone up in the mountains of North Carolina who are still having to sleep outside in the snow and the sleet while they have not been taken care of adequately, man. So keep all those people in your thoughts and prayers. Next up, my guy back on the free-for-all, Cole in the building. Cole, what's up, bro?
Cody, Lack, boys, what the hell's going on? It's good to be with y'all, man. It's not a normal Friday night for me unless I get to chop it up with y'all, man. As always, we're going to keep pounding all the way through the draft and the new year.
Yes, sir. Keep it pounding, brother. I appreciate you, man. Next up, he's been on the show before, but it's been a while. Happy to have him back. It's Mr. Beef Toes. What's up, dog? Hey, you're muted, my man.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you, man?
Oh, man. Feeling good. I mean, I'm excited to talk about these Panthers, man. I know, I don't follow them too much. I mainly follow because of Jake. We've been boys forever. But I'm really impressed, like, how they turned around at the end of the season. They really showed some, some grit. They said, hey, we ain't, we're going to change. We're changing things. We're going to get better. So I don't know. It's really cool.
Yes, sir, man.
I think Bryce really started stepping up to the plate.
He definitely did. And that's going to be the start of our main question that I'm going to pose to the panel here. I see I got Evan in the background, but his camera is not connected. So once I get Evan's connection, we'll get him in the show. We got D Money in the chat room. Boys, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's have a free-for-all, boys. Speaking of Bryce Young, Beef, you were talking about this comeback that Bryce Young has had and how the Panthers have started to really turn it on at the end of the year. And someone posed a question, and I'll even try and find the video of it. There was some TikTok account that brought it up. Is Bryce Young a candidate for the comeback of the year player? Considering we're talking about a player that many people, including a lot of us fans, were calling an abject bust after the first season of his NFL career and after the first 2 games of his second season being benched. We thought Bryce was done. They were calling him the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the betting odds for comeback player of the year, right now, Joe Burrow is number 1 at -270. And then I believe at +200 is Sam Darnold. So with all of that in retrospect, and considering those players and what they've done this season, which has been incredible, boys, is Bryce Young deserving to win comeback player of the year? It's a free-for-all. Damn it, jump on it.
Yeah, I mean, with the as far as career-wise comeback, biggest comeback would probably is Sam Darnold. Like how shockingly good he's become. Right. Yeah. So, but as far as
but
he's been good all season,
Oh, he had a hellacious year.
Yeah.
He had an insane year.
But Bryce started off like awful. And then what's his name took over?
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton had like one good game, and then then he just fell off. And then when he came back, Bryce came back with a vengeance, like so much more confident. Whenever he threw that touchdown pass, and he just spun around, he didn't even look at it. He's like in the like it was. He's like just in the groove, and I hope that it will translate into next year. Like they just keep that same energy going.
Word has leaked out that he.
So,
Pickle in the background.
Hey, hold on, Pickle. Are you saying something?
He is no longer the team. Yeah. I don't know.
You need to mute him.
Another person won the local board in Carolina.
It sounds like he's watching a video of himself.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious. Like I'm not.
Yeah. It does sound like that.
Talking to us?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Let me unmute him. Yeah. Hey, Panther Pickle, can you hear us?
And I'm just that fan, but I gotta add 2 and 2 together. So.
I don't know who he's talking to. He's
I don't know.
Aliens. Panther Pickle's having a whole ass conversation with somebody, bro. That's hilarious. All right, we'll go back to Panther Pickle.
Y'all.
Hey, whatever he was saying sounded interesting. I'm gonna be real. But we'll get back to Pickle. But so I wanted to highlight this from D Money in the chat. It says, I don't know what the actual criteria is. This was a big point of controversy last year when Joe Flacco won the award, because a lot of people felt that DeMar Hamlin, who damn near died on the field, who didn't come back to play football, that he should have won the comeback player of the year. Now, I believe that they amended it somewhat, where I believe it does have to be, or I believe they wanted to amend it where it had to be someone coming back from an injury, but I believe it's just a player that's coming back from either a down year or a major injury that qualifies you for the comeback player of the year. So my question is Bryce's immaculate turnaround enough to warrant him being considered over the likes of Joe Burrow and Sam Darnold? And you're right, Jake. Sam did crumble in the playoffs. So what are we thinking here, boys?
I mean, I forgot. Go ahead, Shaq. I forgot you didn't finish your point.
Yeah, I don't remember my point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah. I think because like I said, like the way he just can't, like, the Joe Burrow. Well, I don't know about Joe Burrow, but I know that Sam Darnold had a whole good year. I'm just saying, like, he started off, got benched, then came back and was like a different person. So yeah, I think he in my opinion, as far as the year goes, I think he has the biggest comeback. I think he should
All
do that more.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Well, just how horrible his rookie season was. I mean, I was one of the ones that thought like we really made the wrong pick. Like after the first year, I was like, it can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. We know some of the greats has had horrible rookie seasons. I mean, I'm pretty sure what Peyton Manning had. He didn't have a good rookie season. If I'm not mistaken, neither did Andrew Luck. I mean, he had a subpar. I could be wrong. But regardless, I mean, there's some Hall of Famers that had horrible rookie seasons. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, he couldn't have had a worse year. And the way the beginning of the season started off, it was really, really bad too. I mean, we started seeing repeats of last year, and we was worried about that. But the way he came back after being benched, man, like I just don't know how he don't win it.
Yeah. No, all great points. Dave's jumping on this, brother. Did Bryce do enough to win comeback player of the year more so than Joe Burrow or Sam Darnold or any of the other players who might win the award?
Well, it's all in how you define it, I suppose. And a lot of people in the chat are making good points about does it have to be defined by an injury, or do you have to be coming back from an injury to make an actual comeback? I don't know the answer to that question either, and that's a good question posed by the chat. But what I would say he come back from is that massive tweet put out by CBS Sports that compared him with Jamarcus Russell. And, Greg drew that same comparison on the free-for-all like a year before that tweet ever came out. And I wish I had pulled it for the free-for-all. I didn't think about it until just now. But, boy, you talk about coming back from that tweet, because Bryce Young was down bad at that point. We thought he might get unloaded for a fourth-round pick or less. Like, we thought that was an actual possibility that he would never see the field again. And a lot of people still say if Andy Dalton hadn't gotten to that car accident, literally an act of God that got Bryce Young back on the field and another opportunity to make this comeback and solidify himself as a starter for the Panthers next season, because Canales has already said that. So that, in its own way is a major comeback. Now, did he have a particular injury? No, but Andy Dalton did that kept him off the field and kept this from happening. But at that point, I remember when CBS Sports put that out, I could not believe the comparison between the stats of where Bryce Young was and where Jamarcus Russell was through the amount of games. It was 20 games or something like that, Cody. But anyway, in his own regard, yes, he made a great comeback. Would he be an actual candidate for the award? I don't believe he would.
Yeah, I mean, especially, it wasn't a traditional year for any quarterback. I do think that he should at least be in consideration. Granted, I don't think that he will be included in the award. I don't think he wins. I think it'll be either Burrow or Sam Darnold. But, man, considering what people were saying about him, yeah, that was very well said, Deez. I don't think that he's definitely worthy of the consideration. Let me bring in Evan Jevin back to the free-for-all. Evan, what's up, brother? How are you, man? And you're muted.
Okay. I've been pretty damn good. How about you guys?
I've been doing good, man. Been doing good. Before I let you roll here, I wanted to play the original clip of what inspired me to make this a question, so that we can give credit where credit is due. I don't know who this gentleman works for, but this was on TikTok. I think this is Rosillo, I think is his name. I don't know.
If you go through comeback player of the year, it's usually you were hurt last year and now you were good. Well, what if you were like a Hall of Famer, got hurt, and then came back and just played awesome because you're an awesome football player? Is that really a comeback? Chad Pennington won it twice, by the way. So it's really, hey, you're usually really good. You got hurt and then you're good again. How about within the same year, your career looks like it's over as the number one overall pick, and now it looks like you actually might have a chance. I don't know how good Bryce Young's going to be, but the fact that it was this in the second half of the season with his return, I think voters should look at it that way and go, you know what? He's the comeback player of the year, because I think what he came back from, I know it's not an injury, but just the absolute confidence, devastation that he was facing to the point where he's now smiling again after completions. I think he should be comeback player of the year.
Yeah, great
That's
point.
my point. Yep.
Yeah.
That was my point. Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Evan, what do you make of the whole topic? Do you think Bryce is worthy of the award? Could he actually even win the award? What say you, man?
It's definitely interesting. I think there's a chance. I mean, I know it's like the guy said, it's mostly like guys who get injured and come back get it, or well, that's mostly what they have. But I definitely think he could. I mean, his story is just such a good story that it's like you have to put it in consideration to be one of the finalists. I mean, going from how he was until like now, it's just you got to put him in consideration as one of the finalists, even though it's not injury, or if that's really, it's not designated like an injury thing or a comeback from an injury, but like that's what they choose mostly. But yeah, I definitely think you got to put him in consideration for sure.
All right, absolutely, man. Let me go to Panther Pickle now that we got Pickle back. Pickle, is Bryce Young deserving to win Comeback Player of the Year, and might he win it over someone like Joe Burrow or Sam Darnold?
To me, as much as I like
Pickle, damn.
Well, who are you talking to?
as much as I like Bryce, Sam's been in that situation longer. He's floated with multiple teams. I'm going to pick Sam, or Sam gets it over Bryce. But that doesn't mean Bryce didn't come back from somewhere last year. It's just Bryce did it for 1 year. Sam's done it for like 5 years. So
yeah, okay. So just over being a
I can see that. I can see that.
Longer term project to turn it around. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me bring in Vegas Drew back on the free for all, cammed up today. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. What do you think about this, man? Could Bryce Young be Comeback Player of the Year? Is he worthy of such an award? And could he win over someone like Joe Burrow and Sam Darnold?
I don't think Joe Burrow's even in the conversation for it. Like,
well, right now Vegas has him. It's funny your name is Vegas Drew. The Vegas odds have Burrow as the minus 270 favorite to win.
But nobody really looks at Burrow as having, like, I get it. It was like the comeback from the injury, but his injury wasn't really that severe. I feel like they just kind of shut him down just to be like, we're not making the playoffs. I think Bryce doesn't have any shot. Like, when comeback player of halfway through this year, like, I just don't get me wrong. Like, he did well, like better. He came back from possibly being traded or discussions of cutting, etc. We all know this, but I think Darnold, like, that dude was dead and gone. Like, he was a backup for a whole year. He comes out, wins 14 games. Makes the playoffs, plays like crap. I think that's the only thing that's going to be like a black eye on his resume for it is those last 2 games. But
he thought I'm good.
I mean, how do you? Like, he's. I'm not even a Darnold guy. I never thought. I know people kind of hated on him. He was always what he is. He was here what he is in Minnesota. Minnesota's got a good coach, got good offensive weapons. He's always a dude that's going to put the ball in. He's got a howitzer for an arm, and he's tough. He just looks like Forrest Gump. So people don't realize it's like Eli Manning. They don't expect Eli Manning to truck stick you, but like Darnold, I kind of like Darnold. I like him more than I like Baker. Yeah, Baker's a lot of bull.
And Sam Darnold good here for the Panthers down the stretch.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could call Baker a comeback, but his is more of a comeback too. It's that same story where you're like, everybody's pretty much given up on you but one coach. And you think about Darnold, he was signed up just to be a backup, and the rookie got hurt, and he was brought into that spot. He wasn't even supposed to be the starter. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense if you're not going to go with the injury story to go with Darnold. I just don't think that Joe Burrow injury was like anything that was a major, like he tore an ACL or like Tommy John injury or something.
Like we all know that Joe Burrow, kind of like what the Russillo guy was just saying, that we all know that Joe Burrow is the man. Anyone who doesn't know Joe Burrow is the man. Yeah, whereas if you're thinking about comeback, you're talking about a player who people didn't necessarily, or at least this is one way you can look at it, right? That you're looking at a player who people didn't necessarily ever expect anything from them. And to that degree, Bryce is more deserving than someone like Joe Burrow, because there was a real point in time where the Panther fandom thought that Bryce was a bust. And look, let's be real. Even though he has played well down the stretch, we still need to see
he hasn't
that.
still gotten rid of that yet.
Yeah, we still need to see a winning season from the Panthers with Bryce under center. All of that is reasonable. But I just think talking about how far down he was and that everyone was comparing him to Jamarcus Russell, that's one hell of a comeback, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like if Bryce came out with like 8 or 9 wins and was throwing like, everybody knows our defense was trash. Like, I don't know how we won so many games as we did. Like, if he was look at his stats in those wins and you're like, oh man, Bryce threw for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards and he just balled out. Like, we got a couple wins where he got out yardage gained by the running back, by one running back, not even the running backs. So, I mean, like I said, it's not a negative. It's just not, it ain't going to happen for him. I think that's the longest of the long shot. I get what you're saying about Burrow, but like I feel like him and Burrow would be on even footing for that bit.
Yeah, no, I hear you 100%. Let me welcome in back to the free for all, hailing from Manchester, England. It's my man Alex Britt Panther. Alex, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
What's up, mate? You've done it again.
I did it. No. Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. I know, because it's the name of the beer. Fucking Newcastle, bro. and I did it right the last time.
You
and
did?
I fucked it
thought
up
it was Guinness.
I know, man. I fucked it up. Anyway, Alex, welcome back to the free for all. How are you, brother? And how are you feeling about Bryce potentially being named the comeback player of the year?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I hope you are all well. For me personally, I don't think he's going to win it. I think the media darling, that is Joe Burrow. I feel he's a bit of a media darling. That's what it certainly looks like from over here. I think he is probably in a better position to win it. However, I actually genuinely think that Bryce is probably the one of those 3 that we've mentioned that deserves it the most. You look, first of all, at Joe Burrow. I don't think anyone has ever really been in any doubt of his quality. And as one of the other guys has already said, that I don't think the depths that he's come back from in terms of an injury has been that bad. Yeah. With regards to Donald, you actually look at the games that the Vikings have played against. Yeah, they've won 14 games or whatever it is, but the games that they've actually played, they've played against the Giants. Obviously, they beat them. You've got the 49ers and Jets and a bunch of other mostly bottom feeder teams. The only other teams that they've played against that are reasonably good are the Rams and the Lions, and they've lost against them twice.
Yeah.
So for me, and for him also to bottle it in the playoffs, for me, brings the value down of his project and his return, and his comeback. And as Pickle said as well, it's a 5-year thing for him. This is comeback player of the year. It's not comeback player of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I would say that Bryce deserves this the most, because you look at the very start of this season, the very first pass he made of this season was an interception. You then looked at him after the second game, and that guy's career was fucking over for a lot of people. That guy was a bust. He was not to be seen in a fucking Panther jersey ever again. And by, as you guys have said, by the grace of God, he's been given another opportunity, and he's played against the fucking Eagles. He's played against the Chiefs, and he's looked good in those games, and we've been quite unlucky to not win those games again against the Bucs as well, I think. And then to pick up 2 or 3 other wins in that time as well, and to look like the guy that we actually thought he was going to be. I think he fucking deserves it from that comeback in the last 12 months and this last 6 months or whatever it is since the start of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else deserves it more than him, but I don't think that he's going to win it because, as I said before, I think Burrow's going to get it just because he's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and you made a great point about Sam Darnold too there, Alex, that, so I put it on Twitter, not realizing that the voting was already done, that I love how the MVP award was going to be decided this Sunday or whenever the Ravens play the Bills. But then people reminded me that the voting is already done. And I think that's a bit unfortunate because I think that you would like to be able to judge Sam Darnold and his utter meltdown at the end of the season. I do think that you should be able to factor that into the consideration and into their performance.
Yeah, it's going to be how the story ends, not how the story was going up until that point.
Right, and the same thing with even the MVP award between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They're literally going to play each other in the divisional round. It doesn't get better than that. That should be factored into that, but it isn't. And you're right.
Remember, Cody, it's a regular season award too, man. It's not a playoff.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is 100% true.
That's what they'll always say. It's a regular season award, so they don't take the playoffs into consideration.
Especially considering Bryce and Burrow are not in the postseason, so they're not even going to be able to continue their claim. So, yeah, I guess to that point, I hear what you're saying.
Well, I also feel like it's kind of weird. Like, I don't want to discount what our Brit friend was saying, but you got to think, like, he was saying you lost to the Rams and to the Lions twice. I mean, who did Bryce beat? Like, he didn't beat anybody of count. Like what? Cardinals? Is that like the marquee win of last year? Like, so I mean, we didn't really beat anybody either. So all fair is fair on that. Like,
you're not
we weren't out there world beating either. It's a weird. Like the comeback player of the year is always a weird trophy because it's basically saying you either were hurt and you came back, or you suck so bad and now you're decent. Like, it's like a offhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Backhanded. But I don't know. I just don't. It's just. Would you even be happy? Like, let's say Bryce wins it. Would you guys even?
No.
I would just shrug.
Like, would you be happy? Would you be happy about it? Like, would you be?
Yeah, I mean, listen. There's a part of me that. I mean, listen. I really don't like winning awards for nothing. Being the comeback player of the year still means you didn't win shit. You know what I mean? So to that degree, I don't. But I think the main reason I brought it up was just because I haven't heard Bryce as someone even being mentioned for the award, and I do think he's worthy of at least the mention, considering how bad it was for him last year and at the start of this year. Go ahead, Pickle.
I think that they changed the qualifications. I can look it up. I can try to Google it. I don't think that you get it just because. I think it has to be a real comeback from an injury or like a fresh start. I don't think you can just get it because you suck last year.
We're playing like crap. Yeah.
I don't think you can do that anymore. You used to be able to, but I think they changed the qualifications on that award.
I don't know if they changed it, but I think it always, like, traditionally the last 15 years, it was always like someone who came back from major injury, because there's always somebody that was a marquee player that was getting hurt, like Odell or a quarterback. Someone went out and they came back and had a good season. They're like, oh, comeback player of the year. Kind of like, did McCaffrey win it the other year? I can't remember if he won it that one year. I don't remember, but
what, comeback player?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, I don't believe so. No.
Is comeback player
I think he was in that
actual award?
Yeah, when they do the MVP honors awards, they'll do comeback player of the year.
Oh, okay.
But you thought we were just like giving a moral, a moral victory award?
What if you look at your NFL trophy case and the only award you have in there is comeback player of the year? Do you even display that?
Like,
I was great one time. Look.
Yeah.
You should have an award that says, sorry you got drafted to the Jets.
Or the Browns.
Yeah.
Or the Browns. Oh, my God. They have that. It's called that one jersey that's like 50 feet long.
Yeah, that dude's
all those names.
Yeah.
Good God. At least you know there's always someone out there worse than us.
It's just like a participation.
Participation.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of the word.
Yeah. I felt that would just be an interesting topic of discussion, just because, like I said, Bryce normally isn't mentioned in these types of conversations. But I wanted to go to a different topic, right? So a lot has been made about the defense and how bad it was. My question to all of you is, if you could trade for any one defensive player in the NFL to come here to Carolina, who would it be and why? And I'll give you extra credit. I'll be the professor for today. I'll give you extra credit if you can make it make sense. So if you can say, oh, I think you only have to be able to trade this and this to be able to get him, or you might only have to pay him this and this. If you can make it make sense, then extra credit to you. But you also don't have to either. Just tell me who's the player you would want, why, and if you think they would come here. Who wants it? Jump in on it. Don't be shy now, girls. Come on.
I don't know if there's any defensive players on the trading block that wants to come here. I know we can talk about Myles Garrett, but if Myles Garrett leaves Cleveland, he ain't going someplace that's kind of at Cleveland.
Who's the one that I heard a rumbling randomly, and I was like, that's a good idea. The Trey Hendrickson. I think he's on his last year, or he's either up.
Oh, from
and they're like, and they just can't afford to pay everybody. They're running out of space. Like, that's
he led the league in sacks, by the way.
That's like a good 2 year. I don't think he'll repeat that if he played with us next year, but like, he's a solid dude. Like, he's a little bit JJ Watt. Like, that's a guy you want if we're stuck in this 3-4. That's a dude that can man the corner. Like, that's a guy that can play that spot, D lineman, edge rusher type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
That's me. Charlie Trey.
Yeah. That's a great name. Go ahead, Jake.
Better than Shy Tuttle. That'd be a start.
well, who? Give me a name. Give me a name, Jake.
Literally any other defensive tackle on any other team.
Damn, that boy said literally anybody, bro.
Dude, we have a guy that his last name is Ray and his first name's LeBron Ray, and he's hot garbage, like trash. He wouldn't even be on other teams' practice squad.
Yeah,
that's kind of my point about Hendrickson. Is like, I feel like these dudes are playing like on the edge, and they're barely like they're a lightweight 3-4 D tackle. Like, I feel like we don't have D linemen that fit a 3-4 mold, and he like had 2 years to do it, and we still don't have one dude that is like a 3-4 defensive end or a 3-4 D lineman, other than Brown.
Ashawn Robinson's played an end in a 3-4 for many years. He leads our team.
I forgot about him. And he's not like he's like a dude that's we need one more of him on that D line. Pick up a guy that's like towards the end of his career, still got some gas in the tank.
So a name someone said in the chat was Javon Hargrave, who's a defensive tackle that's been very good for a long time. That would be a good name. Let me go to.
I'd like to get the one from the Buccaneers. What's his name?
Hargrove's getting released.
Vita Vea.
Yeah,
that would be sick. Let me go to these hills. Do I have you with me, brother?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was over here actually researching, trying to figure out what direction I would go. And the best I got for you right now is, because you really blindsided me with this question. I was assuming we were trading for a wide receiver. That's what I've been seeing people talk. And I didn't think we were going to talk about trading for a defensive player. But I guess if it was me, I really like that Andrew Van Ginkel from Minnesota. I like his play. Okay. I mean, he's had 11.5 sacks this season. That's something that would really help the Panthers from the linebacker position. We failed to get that pressure on from that linebacker position like we had that with Frankie Louvu. It really hurt the defense more this year, to be honest. We need to find a resolution to that. But Van Ginkel is under a 2-year contract for $10 million per year with Minnesota right now. It looks like they just paid him. So I don't think that they would be willing to move on from him. Maybe they decide to pay Sam Darnold big money and they need to unload him to gain some cap space, and maybe we could get a deal on him. But I think it's highly unlikely. But that's what I can come up with the short term. That's a player I'd like to have, Cody.
Yeah. And I think maybe they signed Andrew Van Ginkel in response to losing DJ Waddle to us here with the Panthers. So, yeah, you're right. Maybe that might not work, but no, he's a hell of a player. I would love to have him.
Van Ginkel and Einhorn. I was thinking of Ace Ventura. Van Ginkel and Einhorn.
Ginkel is Einhorn.
I kissed a man.
Dude, let me welcome in my brother 910, Kyle, back to the free-for-all. Kyle, what's up, dude?
What's up, fellas? Another great Friday, man. Oh, yes, man. Sir. So happy. Just another show, just another day. Talk some more Panthers news.
Absolutely. Kyle, I'm going to jump right to you on this one, man. We're talking what defensive player would you like the Panthers to trade for? Now, there's no rules to it. Dude, you can go buck wild and pick whatever defensive player you want to.
No rules,
I did say extra credit to anyone who makes it make sense. So if you can put together why it should be this person over another and actually give me something, then that would be cool too. But just any defensive player works. Who would you like to see the Panthers go and get?
Well, my first one is Marcus May, the safety. He's playing on the Dolphins right now. He's an unrestricted free agent. And to make it make sense to your point, Cody, we tried to go after Marcus May once, and he turned us down in favor of taking a bigger payday with the Jets.
Right.
But we didn't offer him, a bunch of money over top of that. And he's been on two teams since then. So if we were to come back and say, hey, we're still interested in you, I think that would be one of the targets I would try to get. Marcus May would definitely be an upgrade over all of the safeties that we have right now. Not even counting who we could potentially sign. You just give me somebody big in the middle. I need somebody. I need somebody on that free agent. I'll do this one for you, Cody. I need somebody on that free agency list to jump out at Dan Morgan to the point where he says, I know you said you don't need a nose tackle, but this guy's coming here. That's what I need.
Yeah, okay. All right. I like that. And the trenches too. I mean, that's hard to not love. Marcus May is a good one too, considering the Panthers did try and bring him here last offseason. No, that's a great one. Evan, are you still with me? Evan, do we got you?
Sir.
Yes, sir. What defensive player would you like to see the Panthers attempt to either trade for or sign in free agency? And remember, you can pick whoever you want. It doesn't have to be someone that makes sense. You could pick what's the dude's name? Chris Jones from the Chiefs if you want. I don't care. Just what player would you like to see on this team?
Man, this really is a tough question just because there isn't really much people out there already. So it's like you got to really think about it. But off the top of my head, possibly. Man, this is hard. I mean, Myles Garrett is somebody I would think of, but Pickle talked about him earlier.
Micah Parsons, come on now, say it with me. Mike.
I mean, you could,
but
joking. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I mean, he would be an amazing player, and you literally could get him in the draft, possibly, in Abdul Carter if he were to fall there, but he more than likely will not. But I would say, I forget, not DJ Reed, the cornerback from the Jets. He's a free agent this offseason. I forget his name exactly, but he was opposite of Sauce Gardner the past couple of years, and he was really good.
Yeah, the smaller corner. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
He now we have Mike Jackson, so that might make it less likely. And he played really well, and I would be surprised if we don't bring him back. But I got to say that's him, and he just makes sense because even though we would have Mike Jackson, I mean, he would add some depth and maybe even be the starter over Mike Jackson and put Mike Jackson more in a depth role. That could make a lot more sense because Mike was really good this year, but I don't know if he's necessarily for sure a future number 2 cornerback on this team.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, I was pretty impressed with Mike Jackson this year. But I just, I mean, to me, the most pressing need is probably along the defensive front 7. That's where I would like for it to go if we did end up going that route. One of them that I mentioned before that I think would be really cool is Alex Highsmith, the outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Has Charlotte connections, went to UNC Charlotte. He's that outside linebacker edge rusher that we're looking for. He bends the edge. He's aggressive. He's had over 10 sacks, I believe, the past 2 seasons in a row. I don't know where he's at now. He might have missed some time with injury this year, but to me, that would be a great trade. And he's already under contract, so you're not having to repay him. That's a good name. Is there anyone else that wants to jump in on this? Jake, I know you said Michael Parsons. That can be right.
I got a couple of names.
Run them.
I got 2 names that we don't have to trade for. That we can just potentially sign in free agency. And one of them name is Zach Bond. He's a linebacker for Philadelphia. He had 80 solo tackles this year, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. Actually, I think 1 interception. He's a linebacker for Philadelphia, and also an edge rusher, Josh Sweat, who is he's also a Philadelphia Eagle. Both potentially free agents that we could sign.
Chase Young.
Yeah, Chase Young's coming off some injuries too. But no, those are good ones. What's your preferred name on that list, though, Jake? Do you have one that's like the top of the top on that list?
I mean, it really depends on what we do in the draft for me to really answer that question. But I mean, I know free agency is before the draft, so it's kind of like, damn. I mean, you really got to think about it.
Yeah.
I feel like Zach Bond. He's a really great linebacker. I mean, you can't go wrong with linebacker play.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Bond's probably Philadelphia is probably going to drop a bag on him, right?
Man, I hope not.
I would love for that. Dude, if we could get Bond, dude, I would be fucking pumped. But yeah, go ahead, Pickle.
Yeah,
give me a name, Pickle.
Milton Williams, defensive lineman for the Eagles.
What's
Milton Williams?
That name up,
Milton Williams. He been a backup most of his career except for this year, and this year he's had 5 sacks and 13 tackles for losses. Because, yeah, and he's played in their 3-4, so he shouldn't really have an issue adapting to our team because it's the same position. Being Ivero's system revolves around is kind of the mentorship from the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. It all fits in together.
Okay.
That would be an excellent choice.
Okay. All right. That's a good name. Were you finished, Pickle?
Another guy I'd love to look at is Javon Holland, a safety from Miami. I think it's Miami.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that's a big name.
He's a top safety in free agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a name. I'm not mad at that. Let me go back to D's. D's, did you have something you wanted to throw in on this?
Yeah, there was a couple guys I was looking at, but they're all locked up under contract. One of them was Zach Allen for Denver. But yeah, so anyway, so I was going down that path and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, man, this is a really, really good question, Cody, because we've got to realize that with us having the worst defense actually literally historically in the NFL last year, we're going to need these types of changes to the defense through free agency. Just like the chat pointed out, we saw that last year when we brought in the offensive linemen, right? The two good guards, Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis. They changed the entire perspective of the offense going forward. And we need that same type of free agency signing or a trade, if necessary, to change the shape of this defense. We can't go into the draft alone and expect Avero's job to be saved or suspect the defense is going to be massively better just from the draft. It's not enough. We need something to happen in free agency, or we need something to like Holland signing. I think that would be huge. If you get a guy like Holland, then you can draft another safety and you're probably good to go, especially what's the big name right now, Watts. If we took him at number 8, him and Holland together would be, or Starks, whichever one it is. You put those two guys together back there, and you talk about a good-looking secondary already, just with Mike Jackson and J.C. Horn. So you can make these changes to the defense to where you feel a little bit more confident about Avero going into next season, but it's going to take a big free agent land like Pickle was talking about, or it's going to take a possible trade. And that is a heavy question for Dan Morgan. How much is he willing to put on the line? Is he willing to trade the future of the Panthers to save the defense for the 2025 season? I think it's a fantastic question, Cody.
Yeah, and I think you're also talking about getting a proven player instead of going through the draft roulette and hoping that you have a guy who is ready to go right as a rookie. That's probably not the most likely of scenarios. So if you did make a trade, you're getting someone that you're prepared to come in right now and be able to really do some work. I like some of the names that the chat is bringing up. Of course, Hassan Reddick, old buddy, old pal. Peyton Wilson is a name I've seen. Puna Ford, I like a lot. Short guy, but just powerful. Gets upfield in a hurry and a quick. I saw Khalil Mack mentioned earlier. Now, Khalil Mack is around 35 years old. Yeah, but the dude at one time, and even last year, I believe he had like 11 or 12 sacks.
Yeah,
the dude is still a monster. Maybe that's a name that you would even consider as well.
I would also like to throw out there, I might be a little crazy for trying to sign a corner, but Byron Murphy from Minnesota and Jeff Okudah from the Texans are both going to be free agents as well, and I would sign either one of them.
Man, y'all remember when everyone said Jeffrey Okudah was going to be the next shutdown corner?
Yeah, he was with Detroit, right?
Yeah, he went to Detroit.
But he's still a good corner, but he's not the shutdown that everybody projected him to be.
2? If he's a decent 2, I might kick the tires on him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a lot of people are going to say he's another C.J. Henderson, who was a number. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Man.
He's 25.
Mike Jackson was better than C.J. Henderson. I mean,
I don't like any of them options at corner. I'm sorry. I just assume have Mike Jackson back.
That's why Mike Jackson's gonna be cheap too, y'all.
What about well, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, finish.
No, that was it. I'm just gonna say that he's gonna be cheap. He ain't gonna be too much.
Yeah. Also, Frank Nitty in the chat says Zaire Franklin for the Colts leads the league in tackles almost every year. Be in the top 5. His stats this year are 173 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions and 5 forced fumbles.
That's a tackling machine.
Yeah, dude, 173. That dude's a monster. And if you're trying to stop the run, yeah, you could do some Zaire Franklin. That's not wrong.
Well, I mean, if you could spend the money, Javarius Ward is available this year, and that would be a damn good number too. It says he's 29, and he made $13.5 million last year. So if we could pay him, I would agree with that. But I mean,
y'all think we're gonna cut Dane Jackson? I'll be all for it, honestly.
Well, technically, he's still paid through 26, but
if he's a casualty,
we save quite a bit of money if we cut Dane Jackson.
If he's a roster casualty, I wouldn't give a damn, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't
guess
know.
I guess Dane Jackson can play special teams, but I wouldn't trust him no farther than that. And I don't really trust him on special teams. So
Some other safeties, after they mentioned Javon Holland, I actually kind of reminded me of some other safeties that are free agents. Justin Reed from the Chiefs is also supposed to be a free agent this
Oh
year.
yeah, I like Justin. a
He's
lot.
good.
Very
Reed's
solid.
a good one,
He's
yeah.
good.
there's what's that safety for the 49ers?
Oh, he's good.
No,
He's good too.
I can't
He's
pronounce his name.
Tafangaloa or something.
Yeah, he's good
Tafangaloa
too.
or
He came
something
back
like
from that injury though. He had a real bad injury that kept him out for a whole
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cody,
I-
I'm
I
gonna hit a
do
name
follow
up for you.
yeah.
We talked about him last year. Justin Simmons.
Okay,
He only
the
signed a
safe-
1-year deal with Atlanta.
all right.
Yeah,
No, I'm not mad at that at
on
all.
this team.
I'm not mad at Justin Simmons. That would be a
Yeah.
welcome name. I wouldn't mind that.
No, because you're hurting Atlanta and you're improving the Panthers defense at the same time. That's a double-edged sword. That'd be a good move for Dan Morgan if he can work the contract out with
Wouldn't
Justin.
cost
I
much
like
either.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Tyrann Matthews also. He's a little older, but Tyrann Matthews also available.
Yeah, he's 30.
That's another guy. Man, he's so long in the tooth though.
Yeah,
He's been
Yeah.
playing for a
his,
long
be- his,
time
his
now.
best times. Yeah,
Carlton
his best games-
Davis.
How
Carlton
about
Davis.
Marquise Bell? His first, he's 25. First couple years he was with the Cowboys, he actually helped them out a lot at inside linebacker because of injuries and other things. Last year he played strictly safety. He's a guy that I've always found intriguing. Got great speed, great agility.
Damn near any safety that's a free agent will be better than what
Matthew
we got.
Judon will be available.
Yeah, true.
I'll tell you what I want. I want someone. I want a leader. I want someone.
Yeah.
I feel like if you look at the stats, they're number 32 overall defense in almost every single category. Like they need a leader. I feel like they like and someone with the dog mentality to get this defense going. Someone that can lead these dudes. And I don't keep up with NFL too much, so I can't put any names out. But I know that's what I would like to see in the defense. It's just someone coming in and lead that defense. Yes.
Yeah. Someone to come in and
get this, get the juices flowing, get it going.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't know if Derek Brown,
other players like gravitate. You got that personality. You got that personality that it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No, absolutely.
They gravitate towards it.
We do need a player like that. I don't think that Derek Brown is that kind of player. JC Horn is also, to me, silent and reserved. Yeah, we need that dog, man. That's what Thomas Davis was for the Panthers forever, man. Thomas Davis would get the whole defense ready to run through a wall. That was one of his specialties. And I feel like our defense is definitely missing that.
I mean, if I could pick a play like just anybody, it would probably be a toss-up between Max Crosby and Bosa.
Yeah, so that's another name that people mention too. Max Crosby, the Raiders are
because he's a
high.
dog, but like, but I don't know about his leadership. He kind of seems like the person like that's all about himself.
Yeah, Well, I do love that he's a shit talker though. Like Jake
nice
just
after the
said.
game. He's really nice after the game. He just shit talks through the game. He said that.
Okay.
He's like a lot of people he said a lot of people think I'm a bad guy. But like they said a thing about Luke Kuechly too, how like he's like a cool like college reserve type person out off the field. But he was a maniac on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like he just has that personality where you're just an animal on the field.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like with the teammates, like you being,
Right.
But I mean, but he's got that dog, like he's got that grit, that dog, like he goes in there for a fight, And then Bosa, I think Bosa is more of a better leader. I don't know, but he's also got that dog mentality too. But Max Crosby, he can, you got to watch out for him.
Absolutely. Do y'all remember when people were trying to say that Brian Burns is comparable to a Max Crosby. Dude, that was
Not even close.
Oh, JJ Singer now, you said?
absurd.
Not even close.
Absurd. Yeah, like JJ. Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I mean, listen to me. If we get someone from the front seven, that's what I
That's a
want.
win.
I want someone
That's a
who's
win.
yeah.
But we also need somebody in the secondary too to
No,
help.
safety. We have no safeties.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
legit.
But the reason why I'm bringing it
I
up
mean,
is
JC
the
Horn can't do
idea-
it all by himself, you know.
No, he can't.
True, but the idea that you're going to go in the draft and then have 9 draft picks to be able to build up the team to be able to use any way you want, you know. And there's also the receiver question that goes into this a little bit too.
Yeah,
Who would y'all draft?
From the that's a good question. Are we talking
best player
offensive, defensive?
available.
I got you a player.
I would. I've read today that as much as I didn't think it was possible, I've read today that the Seattle receiver,
DK, Metcalf.
DK, is a legitimate trade offer. The Seahawks will likely put him up on the block this year.
It won't be a first rounder though for him.
No, it won't.
He's a number 1.
I've heard that he's more than likely he'll be up on the block this year. The Seahawks won't get a first round pick, but would you trade your second or third round pick
I
for
would,
DK
yeah.
Metcalf?
I would, yes. I would. Me personally, yeah. I
Second
would.
or third round
He's an
pick.
immediate, like, if we have no shot on Garrett Wilson, we have no shot on T. Higgins. Like, if all those options are gone, like, we have a late second, right? It's not even an early second to mid second. It's like a late second. I mean, it goes as far as the Rams go. That's our second round pick is the Rams.
Yeah. And we all know that Dave Canales has experience with Metcalf from his time up in Seattle, you know, and his time with Mike Evans. I don't know. Maybe this is what the doctor ordered for Carolina. I'm okay with it. I'm going to be real. Going out and getting another edge defender
He's only 27.
or another wide receiver. If you go that route and get someone who's already under contract, that allows you to be able to re-sign your own players and not have to take on a bunch of your money. I would 100% be into that.
What more perfect mentor for XL? Like, really? Like, honestly.
XL, I think Coker is going to be a superstar. I'm sorry. I think Coker is going to be a bigger superstar at the end of their career than XL is.
I can't disagree with you, Pickle. But at the same time, it can be reversed. I mean, XL can end up being better than Coker.
Well, I tell you what. Let's just imagine that both of them become superstars. How's that?
That's a win.
All right.
That's a win.
I like the idea. I like the idea of DJ Metcalf. DK Metcalf. I don't know what it would take to get him. Like maybe we could get him for 2 4ths and a 5th. I mean, we saw some wide receivers go pretty cheap this season. Devontae Adams didn't draw that type of pay, or Hopkins either. Hopkins didn't go for a big boatload to get moved to Kansas City, so maybe it's not going to take that much to get him here. And if Dave Canales is in Dan Morgan's ear, you got to get him. We need him. I want him. I like him a lot. That could be the route that the Panthers go. And I like the idea of 2 big bodies out there, like the chat was pointing out. Him and XL on the field at the same time. I mean, that's just a lot of yak thread. I mean, it really is. Those guys are specimens, literally, and looking to break tackles and gain extra yards. I could see Dave Canales maybe leveraging a little bit of draft capital to take that risk and get somebody like that in here, especially with what you said, with him already having a couple years left on his contract, and then you can decide, in a couple years what you want to do going on down the road. I like this move, Cody. I think it's not a bad idea at all.
That's the move you make. That's literally the move you make to where you could just, like, majority of your draft picks go straight to defense. I mean, because we're not missing we still got some holes on offense, but nowhere near compared to what we have on defense.
Yeah, dude, that's when you give up the most defensive points ever in an NFL season, yeah, that's how you know it's bad. But listen, man, if you're somebody who thinks that you know all the points and that you know all the things related to football, well, boy, do we have a treat for you. We've been telling you all year that Underdog Fantasy has been cool enough to sponsor us all the way throughout the playoffs and through the Super Bowl. We appreciate them. They currently have CJ Stroud going up against the Chiefs, who, by the way, Patrick Mahomes is undefeated in divisional round playoff games and hasn't thrown an interception. You know, but speaking of that, let's look at how many INTs they even have for old Patty Boy here. So, yeah, right now, look, they have him at 0.5 interceptions on Underdog Fantasy. He's never thrown an interception ever in the postseason. Do you think that now is the first time that he ever throws that interception? Well, listen, man, Underdog Fantasy is indeed the place for you. Join over 5 million fans that are already playing Underdog with their champs game. You could win money by making entries with your favorite players. They also offer things like vulture protection. If you select the designated running back to score a touchdown in your pick'em entry and they get vultured, they will rescue your entry. That's Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code C3P when signing up, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code C3P. We appreciate you. Must be 18 years of age, 19 plus in Alabama, and 19 plus in Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783. Or text the next step to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778 New York, or text Hope New York to 467-369. Thank you to Underdog for sponsoring C3. We appreciate y'all. Boys, let's go back to these trade scenarios that we were talking about. Is DK Metcalf a more preferable trade candidate than, let's say, Garrett Wilson, who is younger and who does have a rookie contract left to work with for your salary cap purposes?
You said more preferable? No.
I agree.
I'd rather have the guy on the rookie deal.
Okay.
That's how I am. I feel like if you're talking about which is the best, like overall, what we should do between the two, I think it's Garrett Wilson. But the thing about Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson's going to cost more between the two.
It's going to cost more.
It's going to be a lot more draft capital, way more value. And, I mean, that's it. But, I mean, you can't really go wrong with either one of them. But, I mean, one is better off than the other.
Yep.
I was talking. I was muted the whole time. AJ said DK, XL, Coker. That's the Monstars, baby. Let's go.
And you got to factor in Adam Thielen, too. I mean, especially if he don't retire, if he comes back for another year.
Right. No, you're not wrong.
Something come out today talking about Adam Thielen might come back. I think it was Joe Persons talking about that, or something that was said. I can't remember the exact tweet, but it's looking like a good probability that Thielen will be back next season. That was because it was Mike K. He was talking about what the Panthers put out, the tweet they did. They did that montage of Thielen. I don't know if you watched it, Cody. It was really freaking good. Good video editing along with entertaining, man. Thielen made huge freaking catches all year long. I mean, you can't deny what he did last year, over 100 yards or over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. Nobody thought he could do it. Nobody thought he still had it in his repertoire, and he just literally goes out there and proves everybody wrong 2 years in a row. Yes, he had a hamstring injury and missed some time, but he did that catching a freaking touchdown for the Panthers. So let's go Adam Thielen. I hope he comes back for sure.
Yes, sir. This is the highlight video that the Panthers put out. Adam Thielen just balled this year, and he was a number one receiver last year for Bryce Young. He's been awesome since he's been here. One of the best signings that I believe this team has made in a while.
And nobody thought it was that way either. It was so underrated of a signing, to be honest. And
Yes.
we've got to look. His effect to this team reaches further than just what he's done on the field. Look at the maturation of Jalen Coker, just like Brooks was talking about in the chat. How Coker is part of that Monstar squad, the best UDFA wide receiver in Panthers history, led by the greatest UDFA wide receiver in NFL history. Putting those two together, man, the guy's not just a wide receiver, not just a number one target for Bryce Young. He's a mentor and a leader in the locker room. And those two things may be even more important than what he contributes on the field.
Yeah, man, especially now when the Panthers are in such a need for leadership. A lot of the guys that have been in the locker room for a long time, they're starting to move out and go to different portions of their careers. And the fact that he's been a part of this locker room, it's been such a benefit to have a real leader like that when your offense has been so bad as well, too. You really don't know what you have in a player like that until they're not here anymore.
He's one of the best route runners, and I'm not saying that lightly or nothing. Like, he's definitely one of the best route runners I've seen in a long time. I mean, he's not fast by no means, and he has above average hands to me too.
And then we saw charts and stats come out too, Cody, that showed how accurate Bryce Young was with the football. Bryce Young making tight window throws, putting the ball in spaces where only his wide receiver could catch it, whereas other quarterbacks just have more separation within their wide receiver group. But Bryce Young was picking defenses apart with his accuracy, and that's something we've never really had in Carolina. I know we all love Cam Newton, but he wasn't the most accurate quarterback. But I think Bryce Young, with some of the stats and throws that we saw this year, showed a level of accuracy that we really haven't had before in Carolina. So there's a lot of things to be excited about there.
Absolutely. And listen, Coker, that's such a good point that everyone brings him up, man. That guy, I feel like, has real superstar potential in the future for the Carolina Panthers. Do you guys think that Coker has the potential to be a number one for Carolina? Like, we're talking about, well, do we need to go get Garrett Wilson? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? But is there a possibility that Jalen Coker is indeed that guy? Not everyone at once, boys.
I think there's a possibility where you put XL and Coker in the ones in practice, and maybe, week to week they're kind of like outdoing each other. But like, we need to get out of the mindset where our number one, because like, we need to stop fishing on like other teams' number 3 receiver for our number one. Like, I know I like Coker, and I'm really proud of what he's been able to accomplish as a UDFA. But let's face it, like our best receiver is a wide receiver 3 on most other teams. So I mean, I just want like a legitimate number 1 receiver that would be a number 1 on half the teams in the NFL. That's all.
Yeah.
We gotta see it, right? That's how I feel. We gotta see it, man. We gotta see it between. I know like Coker has potential, and I know XL has potential, but we still ain't seen the finished product. I mean, I know, yes, right. I mean, it's the rookie season, and we're asking for a lot because we've been terrible for so damn long. But I mean, we're just at that. We evolved to the point where we have to see it.
Yeah, man, let's put up a shut up season. Everybody's wanting to see it. I think the judge on what I have seen this season, though, I do think Jalen Coker has the potential to be very good for a very long time. We're talking about a young player who had to work his way from the bottom to the top. Everything about this dude is emblematic of hard work and dedication. So it's hard not to pull for the guy. I do think he has superstar potential. Granted, remember that you don't have to be a 4.2 runner in your 40 to be a top flight wide receiver. There's a lot of guys who have run 4.6s and 4.5s that just because of their understanding of body position and acceleration and hands catching, that they just become well-rounded wide receivers. And Jalen Coker, to me, is one of those types of receivers. He's a master of none, but he's proficient in all of the different types of routes that you would want to run. He might not have the most over-the-top speed, but he's strong, physical, aggressive at the point of attack. To me, I think the sky's the limit for the young man. I think he could be a future Pro Bowler for us.
Man, wouldn't that be something? You know, Jerry Rice never was the fastest wide receiver on the field either, and he most certainly wasn't the most physically gifted. I remember him catching touchdowns at 42 years old or whatever it was with the Seattle Seahawks. You know, it was about the craft and about how he paid attention to his game that kept him in the game for so long. And Jalen Coker, you know, coming from a small school like that, going undrafted. His father being a fan of the Panthers and wanting to come here was a real blessing for us, to be honest. I mean, already lead all UDFAs, beating Philly Brown's record this year with the most receiving yards for UDFA wide receiver. It's just amazing. And I think maybe as fans, we should just forget about picking up another wide receiver in free agency or in the draft. Maybe we should just develop what we have if Thielen returns. You know, maybe we should put more trust and more focus in XL and Coker and let those guys be on the field and get more reps. Because it was obvious that Dave Canales was going to give Bryce and those wide receivers every freaking rep they could get. You know, and David Moore didn't play bad for this team. And we talk about bringing somebody else in, and you just taking reps away from your younger guys. So, in a lot of ways, I see where we want to add a number one wide receiver as fans, and we continue to talk about that. But in another way, maybe it's just best to leave them on the field and let them develop, Cody.
Yeah.
I agree to that. You know, you got to remember, and I know people hate going to this, but when we drafted Bryce Young, we were told specifically that he had the ability to spread the ball out. The last few weeks, we've seen that he has that ability to spread the ball out to hit multiple receivers. I watched so much film. Folks, I wish everybody could watch this film too. There are multiple people open on most of these plays. I mean, multiple people. There's not to say nobody's getting separation is massively incorrect. Massively. There are I don't know. I'm assuming it's schemed open by the coordinator, but there is a massive amount of players open. There really is. So you strengthen the defense, you add a piece or two here on the offense. I'm telling you, we've got a good team right here. We just have to keep the course. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is add in a veteran player that hinders the development of somebody else.
Yeah. Man, I just love that we have an undrafted free agent that is actually producing for us. Like, we're not used to this. You know, we really, I remember Andrew Norwell once upon a time was a really good undrafted free agent for us, but we haven't had a ton of them.
He survived the cuts, y'all. I mean, we honestly got lucky to pick up Coker again because we at one point.
I trust Dave Canales and Brad Isaac to find us good receivers. I really do. In the draft and free agency, I really do trust them. Listen, I'm a guy who had nothing good to say about David Moore. Nothing good.
No, you definitely didn't.
Not a damn thing good. I said nothing good about him. I said that he was just an overrated bum. He was a camp follower. He didn't have any talent. I said he will be cut before training camp's over. I said he's useless to be on this fucking roster. And I was massively wrong about David Moore. I trust Dave Canales and Brad Isaac to develop wide receivers. Now, did they show Mingo the door? Yes. Did they show TMJ the door? Yes. And you know what? Maybe they needed to go. I trust that was a good idea. So let's go. Let's keep the course. I assume we'll draft a wide receiver at some point in this draft. Maybe pick up one in free agency. Maybe not a headline guy, but hey, I really think we're good. I don't. I know a lot of people are pushing for that number one because that's just I said it. That's just I'm often saying this on Spaces. That's just what some people want to do. I'm a defensive minded guy at first. Every offseason, I'm going to say, all right, how can I fix my defense? That's what I say. If we had there was times in Carolina that we had a stud defense at the end of the year. I'm still saying, all right, what hole on my defense do I need to fix real fast?
Even if it's
That's
great.
just my mind frame, right? So I understand why some people want a wide receiver because they have it in their head. If you add a stud receiver, if you add a number one, then all your offensive problems go away and most of your defensive problems go away. It's just not that simple, folks. If you watch tape, getting open and getting somebody the ball, getting open was not the issue on offense. It was definitely not the issue.
Yeah, I'd take it a step further too, Pickle. You could throw Tompkins into that. I like the way Tompkins looked late in the season.
Right.
As kind of like a gadget guy. He was really fast. He played well on special teams. Also, a guy that's worth being on the roster and coming in just for limited playing time. I don't think he's bad either. And, the chat's got a lot of good points on this too. Josh is saying that we're wanting to bring somebody in to replace Thielen down the road. And I get that. But I don't know that you want to do that with a number 8 overall pick because then you're hurting those two previous picks. You're hurting the XL and his rep. You're hurting Coker in his playing time. And we saw Coker's playing time affected by Deontay Johnson. And then look at how much of a cancer that guy was going in and out of NFL rosters. Nobody really wants him on the team. And it just seems like a shame now that we took away from Coker's stats to put Deontay Johnson on the field, So when you've got some of these younger guys kind of working out, it's just, I guess it's a dangerous game that you're playing by bringing others in that's going to take away from those reps and that development. And I agree with you. I think they can pick the right wide receiver. And I think, if they have those heart-to-heart conversations with Thielen about how long he's going to be with this team and about how long he wants to play, then they can kind of measure that out and figure out when they do need to draft somebody or when they should bring in a free agent. And maybe it isn't necessarily this offseason, but the next one after the 2025 season. Hard to say.
Yeah, lots of different ways that we could go with it too. Man, I don't know, man. See, and then I'm also looking forward to, look, we're talking about this draft here, right? That's going to be coming up, and free agency comes first, so we're wondering what direction it would go. But to me, how it's been looking is you either go and pick up a big time defensive player in free agency. And then you open up your first round pick to being a wide receiver for Bryce, or vice versa. You try and get a wide receiver in free agency and then use that first round for defense. Do you think that that's probably going to be the way it is? And if so, which way are you looking right now? This is for everyone.
I think it's going to be defense.
You're on mute, brother. The dude right next to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go defense. Murphy from Texas, I really feel like the defensive line needs some help. I mean, Clowney's he's pretty good, but we need a little bit. We need some help there. Right?
Some fresh legs.
Fresh legs, yeah. And Brian Murphy, he's pretty damn good. So. That, I mean, in reality, that's who I would go to. I mean, maybe, what's the cornerback from Colorado? He's going to follow.
Travis Hunter ain't going out.
Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
He'll probably be.
I'll tell you, I'm running the vote up there myself if he falls to 8.
Look up Jalen Walker from Georgia, an edge rusher.
That's my pick.
Edge rusher / linebacker.
Dude, he is incredible.
There are folks online.
Who?
Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker, Georgia.
A linebacker from Georgia. He's played inside and outside. And he's
from North
being
Carolina.
Called the next Mike Parsons.
He's from Salisbury, North Carolina, too.
Yes, he's a hometown kid. So I was told by a Georgia fan that he is the steal of the draft today. And Alabama Standing There fans said you're absolutely right. I've already bragged about him a little bit. I Googled him again. I've looked up film again. I've shared a couple posts online. I'm telling you, folks, if we don't draft this kid, we are going to regret it 2 or 3 years later.
38 solo tackles, 23 assists, 6.5 sacks, 2 fumble returns. Yeah.
And he's played inside and out, not because they had to, because he's just that good enough to do it.
Yeah, he's just so versatile. So, he's got the quickness and the power, and
this is from NFL Rookie Watch. Pickle, you had sent me this. Jalen Walker is reportedly believed to be the scariest true linebacker to enter the NFL draft since Micah Parsons. Some NFL scouts reportedly believe Walker has levels of Micah Parsons to his game and is worth a top 8 pick. Walker is also reportedly believed to be on the same level as Roquan Smith was as a prospect coming out of Georgia. Some players from Texas reportedly believe Walker is the scariest linebacker they've ever faced in their football careers after playing him twice this season. The Bulldogs linebacker can completely change an NFL's linebacker room. Sign me up. The names that I've been hearing a lot are Abdul Carter.
Go down just a little bit on that comment section.
A
little bit more. All right, y'all, hang on. I don't see it.
Yours?
No, G-Baby. G-Baby calls this guy an alien. Now, y'all know G-Baby calls him an alien. He's an alien.
Well,
nonetheless,
it might be right here. Hang on, let me see.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where it's at.
Well, not only that, but the best, what might be called the best tackle in the draft at Kelvin Banks looked silly when he played against Georgia. So,
right.
Real quick,
I watched this dude destroy Calvin Banks. Just literally destroy him. And it got at one play I watched, Calvin Banks got up because he fell down trying to block walking off the field, threw his helmet on the bench. Because he couldn't stop him.
By the way, shout out to AWS Drummer 25 for the 199 C3 bomb. Thank you, brother. He says 80% of the offseason should be focused on defense. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. That defense is really where we need to go, and that's what we're talking about here. But I mean,
because if you think about it, like he's got Bryce, he had all these weapons. There's just he wasn't leading. He wasn't leading them, and now he's gotten his confidence up. He's rolling,
right,
and then allowed them tools. He started utilizing his tools and livened it up. So, I mean, he had everything he really needed. Xavier, he did really good. Coker, like y'all said. What's his name? The tight end.
You take
Yeah.
Boy, Texas.
Yeah. Both Sanders, the running back and the, sucks that dude from Texas.
Jonathan Brooks.
Brooks. Oh my goodness.
But anyway, he had the tools, but he was able to bring them alive.
Right.
So he's rolling now. So now we need to focus. Hopefully that transfer is over, but we need to help the defense because they were dead last in everything.
Right. And Shadir Sanders was open a lot last year. He just there were times watching film, folks, that he was open 2 or 3 yards downfield, another receiver was open. So Bryce threw it to the guy longer down the field where they had Sanders going into the closer routes and the receiver going in the deeper routes. And there was all the time.
Yeah, they was doing like 8-yard digs with Jatavian Sanders, and he was getting wide ass open.
Right. It's.
Hey, by the way, I pulled up some film on Walker, Jalen Walker. This is him right here, number 11. So we see the dude just has a great swipe maneuver, fast, violent. Yeah, he has that off-ball linebacker ability, And a lot of people, I saw someone compare him to Frankie Louvu and what the Panthers would kind of use him as and deploy him as. I love that. I'm into it. And I understand why they're calling him a Michael Parsons type prospect. Wow. Let me go back to that one. Hang on. I want to see that one more
See,
time.
he don't always go 100 miles an hour. He's smart enough to take it and wait for just a second and cover.
Yeah, he takes the right angle.
Him, looking and seeing the offense, and he's like he can see
reading
it.
the quarterback.
So he's reading. Yeah, he's actually reading them. And I think it was a couple plays back. Whenever he's probably the QB spy, but he was just tracking that quarterback, keeping the eyes on the quarterback, see where he was going, and then got him. So he's even though
My thing is,
that's what was designed, but he's got that vision.
My thing is, look at how much Adrian Hutchinson changed Detroit when he got there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, Aiden. Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, that team changed when they had a crazy premier pass rusher that was just good. Because
to me, them pass rushes, them sacks, that's what gets that that gets the defense really going, and always putting on that pressure on that quarterback, forcing them to make mistakes, and then it would just bring the defense alive. It just fueled them.
He disengages with the blocks so easy.
Yeah.
Where Brian Burns just couldn't do it on a consistent basis.
Now another name that people are saying might fall is Abdul Carter. What are we thinking about Abdul? We'll go through three names. We'll go through three names. We did Javon Walker, Abdul Carter. What are you thinking? Then we'll go to Mason Graham.
I like Abdul Carter. I like Abdul Carter. I think he's a good. He's probably going to be a great edge rusher, but to me, that's his high and low ceiling. Edge rusher, whether it's at a 4-3 or a 3-4, he's an edge rusher. He really doesn't do anything else, and that's his job. You know where he's going to be at all times. Jalen Walker, you can move across the whole offensive line, or you can move him to the whole defensive line, including the linebackers. Maybe not tackle, but you can use him at both ends and all three linebacker positions. Or in a 4-3 would be 5 linebacker positions. And in my opinion, strictly my opinion, Jalen Walker is a better draft pick for what we need going into than Abdullah Carter.
I will say though, Carter is super fast.
I'm not disrespecting Carter at all. I don't want nobody.
I like either one of them. I'd be fine with if either one of them are there at 8. We got to count our lucky stars if that player's there, because potentially they could both be gone.
Right. I really truly believe that Carter will be gone before our pick, but the Senior Bowl is coming up, or no? It's called
this is Abdul Carter on the edge, and the game you're looking for, Pickle, I believe, is the Shrine game, right? The East-West Shrine game.
Shrine Bowl, yeah. It's coming up, and
wow, it bends the edge well.
That I want to watch that just because I watch it every year.
Is he going to be a player?
If it was me, Cody, Abdul Carter was available.
I was told on XM Radio today that Shadur Sanders has confirmed he will be playing in that game.
Okay.
I don't see how Dion lets him, but
I don't see how any of these big time players are going to play in the East Shrine. Most of them don't play in the Senior Bowl, and that's considered to be more illustrious than the Shrine Bowl. But go ahead, Kyle. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say if Abdul fell and I was in the position to either draft him or move, I would move back one spot because I know that there would be a team that would be more hyped to get Abdul Carter than Jalen Walker, and I'd still get Walker, and I'd get the extra pick. That's absolutely.
I guess my question is right now is why would NFL scouts consider him higher than Walker? And is this going to end up being a debate come draft time?
Oh yeah,
I think it's based on the fact that Abdul's like a premier pass rusher, whereas Jalen Walker's more of a like kind of do it all DN linebacker kind of guy.
And
One's on a better
thing to
defense.
remember, when the combine hits and the pro days hits and these teams start walking around, talking to players, they talk to coaches, they start, they're no longer interested in free agency. They're no longer, it's 100% draft time, and everybody's devoted to film study. That's when you'll see some of these players rise and fall. What I'm scared of is Walker will drift high into the draft and be gone before we get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of too, Pickle.
But, you know, because some of these organizations, once they start saying, hey, now wait a minute, I could put this guy at end and or inside linebacker.
Yeah,
that's what I'm scared of. Though. I mean, both guys. I mean, are two guys that can play linebacker and DN potentially.
Right.
And I'm scared that Evero's gonna have a guy like that. Does he know what to do with a guy like that?
He knows how to drop him on third downs, drop him into coverage.
Well, that's the point though. If your linebacker or edge, if he can handle being dropped in coverage, that's part of the issue. Some of the guys, I mean, let's be real. Clowney right now is at his age, and what it appeared that we saw, he's barely should be out there on third downs. His ass don't need to be covering a wide receiver or a tight end. That's all we had.
That's why I can't give him shit though, because I think he was misused too, Pickle. Honestly,
I'm sure he was.
There was no reason why his old, and like, don't get wrong, I'm not trying to talk shit about Clowney, but there was no reason for his old ass to be dropping back and covering wide receivers and tight ends. Like, there was no recipe.
Right, I agree. I agree. And you know, we released a couple coaches, and what I do is when we release a coach, I want to go in and find out, or I try to find out, not necessarily the coach, but the title of the job. I want to find out more details than I know. I want to find out, okay, what all did the outside linebackers coach have to do with the outside linebacker? You know, was it just training him to rush the passer, training him what to do, or was it more of lining up in a gap? And the outside linebacker's job is to tell the outside linebackers where to line up to the gap and make sure they consistently get to that gap. If they're dropping in coverage, make sure they're in the right coverage, the right spot. And half of them wasn't happening here.
So, you know, Pickle, a player that I've been looking at who is always in the right spot at the right time.
Diesel skill.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. No, I'm talking about Mason Graham. And let me tell you, boys, if the Panthers, if what kills us is stopping the run, well, let me tell you, boys, Mason Graham might be the cure for what ails us. He put on a clinic against Ohio State, the Buckeyes, who are in the championship. Dude, Mason Graham is the man. Doesn't let anyone run by him. Incredible cap assignment, strong hands, powerful hands. The dude's just a beast, man. Now, he might not be the sexiest pick, but if we're trying to stop the run, he might be the guy. Is there anyone willing to go defensive interior over the edge rushers just because that's what the Panthers might need the most?
Okay, Cody, let me ask you this. Will you pull up a guy named Deontay Walker from University of Kentucky?
He's a mammoth.
I'll
he's
put
a
his name
mammoth.
I'll tell you another unsexy pick, Cody, that I've been watching his film for the last couple of days, and I'm really high. I'm really getting pretty high on him. His name is Jonah Monheim from USC. He's the center, and he's an animal.
Okay, all right. So we're starting to get some more of these names that are coming up in the draft now. It's fun, dude. This is going to be a fun draft. Go ahead.
Well, what about Malachi Starks?
Can't go wrong.
Yeah,
That's the best safety in the draft. Clearly,
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that pick either.
I heard the same guy who was talking on the radio this morning about Jalen Walker turn around and talk Malachi Starks is probably the best safety since this. He's probably the best safety in the draft in several years. He's line up at every safety position. He was going to be an elite player for a decade or longer. It's the same thing they said about Walker. And I'm like, don't do that to me. Give me somebody to draft in the second round. That's what I found Deion Walker. He's a mammoth guy. He's projected
like
to go in the
people.
third round roughly. He's 6'6". He's 345 pounds.
345 pounds. How tall is he?
6'6".
6'6". Good God.
Dang.
Here we go. This is him.
He's a mammoth. He was an Ice Age, y'all. Y'all didn't know that?
Oh, shit. So my man is just a people mover.
They lined him up on the outside. Wow.
Look at
that. Oh, man.
What a spin move.
Man, he's got some
What a
spin.
spin
Let me
move.
tell you what.
I mean, if you can get this guy in the second or the third.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch him destroy my man. Come on, man.
Dude, he has a little bit of speed.
Yeah,
big man
can move, man. Wow, that was pretty cool. All right.
That zero looked like a train tunnel coming at you.
Yes, Brooks. He went to school with our linebacker Wallace.
Well,
wow. All right. Yeah, that's not a bad name there, Pickle. His name is Deion Walker.
Hey, look up that center, Cody. You'll love him.
What's his name?
From USC.
Jonah Monheim. Monheim.
Here, give me type it in the private chat.
Got you.
What's the there was one more guy I was looking up.
Yeah, a lot of comparisons here. So we're talking about defensive linemen, right? We're comparing Abdul Carter. We're comparing Jalen Walker. We're comparing those guys against other guys that play more defensive tackle, right? So Mason Graham, of course, Deion Walker as well, guys that run stuff the middle. What do we need? Well, we need both, to be honest. There's no wrong pick here for the Panthers, and I don't want fans to get the wrong impression. We can't really make the wrong decision. Whichever one falls, we take them, and the Panthers win.
Right.
We get more speed on the outside to rush the passer, which we need, and our secondary needs as well. Or we get that run stuff and ability in the middle to stop another 6-game streak of giving up 200 yards on the ground. So either way, the Panthers win. All these players would greatly benefit the Panthers. They're not all going to be there. You're not going to have to choose between Abdul Carter and Mason Graham. That's not going to happen. We're going to get one or the other possibly, or maybe neither. So if one does fall, right, and I just want to make sure and make it clear to the chat that we're just comparing these different players because some of them are not going to be there, and one of them may be. And if one of them is, we just want to kind of know what they're really adding to this defense, whether it's that run stuff and ability or that speed from the outside. And I tell you what, Abdul Carter thrown into the flat on third down, I wouldn't feel too bad about that. But Ed Harris in the flat on third down, that was one of the worst NFL defensive plays I had ever seen in my life. I cannot believe Favero put him out there. I can't remember how old he is, but he wasn't even on a team, and we picked him up as a free agent. He had no business guarding a flat, and that was against a division rival. That was such an awful play. So looking for better things coming down the road.
So, as we look at Jonah Monheim here, this is the guy that Kyle wants us to look at. Remember that the Carolina Panthers do not have a center on their roster for the next season. So this is Jonah Monheim of USC.
Yeah, he's the best center in the draft.
Yeah, he's a big time people mover. No, I had to look, Kyle, because the first clip I saw of him, it was Mason Graham working him. And Mason Graham got the better of him, at least on that one play. But no, the dude's physical. He moves well. He gets out of his stance. He readjusts well. Yeah, center.
This is not a good free agent, or this is not a good draft for interior linemen at all, folks.
Not really, no.
So if you miss out on this guy, you're not getting somebody else that's close or better. You're not doing it. So if you miss out on him, in my opinion, what we have on our roster is what we have.
Yeah,
we gotta go look somewhere else for something.
So
that for reference, that's the only center I've targeted in the entire draft process so far.
And you know, I want to shout this out. We've talked defense, and that's great. But I know there's going to be people out there screaming if a wide receiver. Okay, let me put this in. If Ted McMillan is there at 8, or Travis Hunter, and they decide to draft a receiver, I am not going to be the guy that's going to scream that's a mistake.
Yep.
I'm going to be happy with what we got.
If
I'm going to worry a little bit
that
about my defense, but I'm still going to be happy about it.
Yeah,
any one of those guys that are projected top 8, like if they fall to us, I could care whether it was what's that guy? Will Johnson, the corner, any one of them. I don't care. I was looking at that list earlier, and literally outside of those the top 2, it's going to be Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Like those 3 are not going to fall to us. But the other names on that list that potentially could, I'm good with every single one of them.
That's how I am, Kyle.
The Tennessee radio today were screaming. There's more people hyped about Cam Ward than they are Shadur Sanders.
I heard the same
right
thing.
Now,
I heard Cam Ward has the most potential to be the quarterback.
And look who the Titans hired for look who the Titans hired for their general manager. The guy that we looked at
the guy
from Kansas City.
Borgonzi.
Kansas City.
Mike Borgonzi.
Yes. So you know,
I still rather go Shadur Sanders, me personally.
Well, you would. I understand. They were saying that Cam Ward is a little on film. He's a little smarter than Cam Ward or than Shadur. He sees a field better. He just he holds on to the ball thinking he's going to play hero ball too much.
Yeah,
that's the only thing they saw about Cam Ward. But anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I don't always trust all these scouts though. They talk a lot of shit like they know a lot of shit, and they end up missing a lot. My thing with Cam Ward, I get that people think that he needs to know how to get rid of the football.
I haven't watched him
also being able to extend the play is something that you have to be able to do at the next level.
Right.
I mean, look at how many mobile quarterbacks are in the playoffs right now.
Right.
You know, it's like that's kind of just the nature of how the position is moving. And if you have the ability to make an extra play and get out there and make a play on the run, yeah, that's definitely that's a plus side trait to have.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it all the time. Can't always play hero ball. Then you're going to turn the ball over too much. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna really dock him for making plays when that's the name of the game. That's what you have to do is make plays. I don't know. I'm not really sold highly on Shadur Sanders. I need to look at him a little more, but I know that apparently against BYU or Indiana, one of them, he looked lost. And I know a lot of people have brought that out. They worry about his ability to read defenses on the next level. Granted, they've said that about a lot of quarterbacks before, and they've ended up being wrong. So,
but you know, add this a little bit. The general manager of KC, or no, the general manager that was hired with the Titans, they replayed an interview he had a couple months ago on XM radio, and he said that he absolutely loves the way they developed Patrick Mahomes, and they made Patrick Mahomes sit on the bench for a year. Do not be surprised if they draft a quarterback in Tennessee and he sits on the bench for a year. Now, that being said, I got a question to ask Cody or anybody else. Who's your third and fourth quarterback in this upcoming draft?
Pickle, I honestly can't even go that deep. I still haven't looked into all the college players yet.
Jackson
right
Dart,
now,
Will Howard.
You posted that earlier today that some people or scouts or whoever apparently see Jackson Dart as a top 10 quarterback. Dude, I swear.
Well, I don't know about top 10.
They're telling anyone and everyone nowadays that they can be a top 10 player.
I think Jackson Dart could slip in the first round. But here's what I think though, really. And I keep saying this. Do not be surprised if some of these quarterback needy teams get a stud player or something in the first round and they grab the player in this early second. That's where Andy Dalton was drafted in the second round. Started his rookie year. So if you take the Giants, for example, they can get a wide receiver in the first round or a stud player in the first round and then pick up a quarterback in the second, they may do that. Or the Browns, or even hypothetically say the Raiders if they miss out on Shedeur and Cam Ward.
When does Quinn Ewers get drafted? When does he get drafted?
I would say go ahead, Dick. My bad.
No, I'm asking you a question too. Like, when does Quinn Ewers get drafted?
Well, so I would rank them Shedeur, Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, and Jackson Dart as the quarterbacks as they come off the board. But I don't think that'll be, probably till, the middle of the second round till the rest of them come off.
I'm going to be real. I think Quinn Ewers can be a good NFL quarterback. I just don't know how long it will take him, but I like Quinn Ewers. I think he can be good. Let me welcome
Quinn Ewers is inconsistent, though.
I agree
he is. And they've been waiting for what's his name, Manning.
They should have. They should have started Manning.
They should have been starting out to the same shit.
Yeah, real quick. Let me welcome Twan down into the show. Twan, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? How y'all feeling?
Doing good.
Good, buddy.
Yeah.
And so listen, man, I can't do the normal 3-hour show tonight. So I wanted to jump into these divisional round playoffs a little bit early. Boys, I'm gonna be real. I haven't been this excited for divisional playoff football in a very long time. I mean, obviously they didn't have the Panthers in it, but I'm pumped for these games, dude. I think all of these games have a live dog in them. Where
matchups.
Yeah, man, I could really see the underdog team pulling off some victories here. First up, 4:30. Let me read the super chat first. Stonewall with the $4.99 C3 bomb. We appreciate you, brother. Says, great show, guys. Good information. I want an attacking defense. Yes, sir. We all do, man. I'm hoping that we really build up this defense in the offseason. I think Dan Morgan will, as he attempts to find them dogs through the draft and through the free agent channels. But, boys, let's move to Saturday. Have some big-time matchups. Man, that Texans defense, they put it on the Chargers. They were all over them. Stroud made some really good throws. Going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes together are undefeated in divisional round playoffs. And in the divisional round, Patrick Mahomes has yet to throw an interception. Can the Houston Texans take down the defending champs, Kansas City Chiefs, or is this a foregone conclusion that that Patrick Mahomes and the boys are moving on?
I think so. It's foregone. I mean, you already know who the ref is, right?
He's undefeated. No. He's undefeated when he's the head ref for Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes.
His favorite ref is going to be there. Houston doesn't stand a chance.
He's a Swiftie too. I guarantee you, he's a Swiftie.
Oh shit, he's a Swiftie. Damn.
The yellow flags are going to beat the Texans.
Yep.
Okay. So everybody's picking the Texans here. I mean the
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
All the way.
Y'all take it easy on Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah, poor guy.
I ain't got nothing against Mahomes.
Poor Patrick.
Kansas City hasn't really beat a team this year above 30.
I say give him another
They've
ring.
really been poor. Let me talk.
Shut the hell up.
He already cooked me earlier.
All right, but in reality, I believe Kansas City. No, I think part of my brain tells me Kansas City is going to do what they always do. But does the injuries at wide receivers catch up to the Texans? Because if Kansas City's defensive line comes out and they play better than they've played all year long, then Kansas City can win this game. But if Kansas City comes out and plays like they played us, like they played 90% of their games this year, they'll lose. I don't think Kansas City makes it to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
I say I don't think they make it to the Super Bowl this year. They're not playing like Kansas City normally plays.
But do you think that? Yeah, I've heard that a lot before, though, Pickle. Do you think that
they've lost a little luster?
Do you think that the Texans are the one to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, it could be a good trap game, for Kansas City. Like Pickle pointed out, they've had a lot of close games this year. This is a Texas team that's struggled at times, and maybe Kansas City doesn't take them that seriously. There were some ungodly stats that come out about that referee set with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, though. I maybe this one goes down to the wire, and we really feel like Houston's going to pull it out, but some mysterious flags come out at the end. There's been a lot of talk about that on Twitter this year about some of the calls that Kansas City has gotten, but Houston's been running the ball okay, to be honest, and maybe that'll be the downfall for Kansas City. We'll see what happens. Go ahead, Pick.
Real quick, I'm sorry, D. Real quick, I have to say this because they brought it up on XM Radio. I never thought about it, and I looked it up. Kansas City hasn't played their starters since December the 25th.
Yeah. Dude, this is a great game.
That's a long time for their starters not to play football.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's 24 days, 25 days.
Yeah, I can't full on pick the Texans. I think the Chiefs are going to pull off that Chiefs voodoo.
Too healthy.
But I do like that Texans defense. And Anderson, the guy they drafted number 2 after Stroud, or number 3, that dude's a beast too. Will Anderson Jr., I love that dude. Twan Don, do we have an upset here, or is Kansas City going to win this going away?
No upset, man. I mean, there's regular season football and then there's playoff football.
Yeah.
And the really good teams step up in the playoffs. It's the difference between regular season and playoffs. The intensity is different. Kansas City knows how to win in the playoffs. Yeah. No upset. I mean,
yeah.
Texans did what they did last week, but their time is done.
Yep, and I believe Andy Reid is undefeated coming off of a bye. So, yeah, that's
and their guys not playing is a plus. That means they come in healthy. I mean, people don't understand the phrase when it says "know how to win." They know how to win in the playoffs.
That they do. You could say no one knows how to win better than them. Next up, we got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders heading to Detroit, and the Detroit Lions, who are trying to look like a team of destiny here. Boys, I'm telling you, man, to me, all the dogs in this game, I'm not sleeping on them. Look, I don't know who I'm picking yet, but I would not be surprised if the Commanders pull it out. Jaden Daniels is having an incredible rookie season. He's for sure the rookie player of the year, but that's a team that believes they can win this year. They don't believe that they're too early. I would not be surprised to see the Commanders win this, but I really do think that the Lions have something special going on right now. I'm going Detroit over the Commanders. I think Detroit takes it home. Boys, what say y'all?
I think Detroit takes it. I so bad all day I've been thinking about this. I wanted to take Washington. I really did. I really wanted to take Washington. I just think the experience is going to come out on the Lions, and the Lions are going to come out on top.
Okay. Detroit. Go ahead, Jay.
I think it's the better game that day. I think the Washington and Detroit game is going to be the better between that Kansas City and Texas game. I do think Detroit wins. But you can't sleep on Washington either. I mean, I think anything can happen during that game, but I still got Detroit winning that. I think it's their year to make it to the Super Bowl.
All right.
I'm going to go Commanders. I think Commanders. I think they're going to win by like 1. I think they're going to pull out some sort of miracle at the end.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Lions.
Detroit.
I think they're rolling pretty good, man. And then except for when Jared Goff there was a game where he threw 5 interceptions and still won the game.
He did. He threw like 5 interceptions and still won. Yeah.
That's crazy. But anyway, I mean, I think they're pretty hot. So I'm gonna take Detroit.
All right, Detroit Lions. Diesel Skills.
We got to remember how banged up Detroit is. Detroit's really hurt. They got a lot of players out. I mean, they've been playing great, guys, and I understand picking them. And I do think they're the better team, and I think they're probably the better coach team right now. But I need to go ahead and give my apologies on the free-for-all to Dan Quinn. When we were in search of a head coach, I was like, please not Dan Quinn. But, I take that back. I think Dan Quinn would have been a good coach for the Carolina Panthers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting down Dave Canales. I think he's a great coach for us. But just seeing what Dan Quinn has done with this Washington team is 1 year. And 1 year has been incredibly impressive. Jaden Daniels was electric with LSU. He's been electric this year. Look at that comeback win versus the Bucks last week. Unreal how he came back. And not only that, I wish Tony was on here tonight. And I hope whatever Tony's doing, I hope he's having a great night, the professor. But he didn't quite believe in Terry McLaurin. And I believed in him last year, and I damn sure believe in him this year. Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels got a shot in this game. They may not win it, Cody, but they got a shot to win it for sure. Should be a great game.
Yeah, they do. I'm probably more excited about this than I am. This is probably the game I'm second most excited to watch. Number 1, we'll get to. That's on Sunday. But I'm pumped for it. Twan, can Jaden keep that magic going and beat this injury-riddled Detroit Lions up in Detroit?
So this is situational football for me. 2 years ago, 2 years back-to-back, Jason Daniels had to play Florida State. His biggest games of the year. The first year, it was really tight, but it came down to him on the offensive side, and the moment was too big for him. The next year was a complete obliteration in the second half, and it just became too much for him. He's been an outstanding rookie in the NFL this year. Amazing play. But it's the playoffs, and in this past, he's proven that moments can be too big for him, although he plays incredibly well in the regular season. He's a rookie quarterback. I just don't see him getting past Detroit, even though they're banged up. It comes down to coaching to me as well, and quarterback play is Detroit for me, man.
Yeah. Dude, they seem like a team of destiny right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've been winning so convincingly, even though they've been so injured, like Dee's mentioned, no, that's a testament to Dan Campbell. And listen, I apologize to Dan Campbell. I was not a believer in Dan for a long time. Jake, I see you got to go. You want to make your predictions before you jump out? You want to just make all your predictions?
If you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah, do your thing, bro.
All right, so I got the lines. We just went over that one. The Philadelphia Rams game, man, that could be. I mean, that's gonna be a great game.
Yeah,
You're talking
dude,
about
the Rams. The Rams are
hot.
Dude.
Yeah, Rams are hot, but damn, Saquon, bro, I can't go get Saquon, man. He did some game type shit this year. You know what I'm saying? So I got to go with the Eagles on that one too. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a close game too. But the Bills and Baltimore, I got Baltimore winning that. I got Baltimore going to the Super Bowl, y'all. I got Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl.
All right, Baltimore going to the Super Bowl, and you said did you say Rams or Philly?
I got Philly.
Philly. All right, Philly. All right, Jay. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on the Free For All again, man. You're the man, dude.
Much love, y'all. Keep
pounding. Much love. Keep pounding. Mr. Beef Toes, I understand you gotta get out of here too, man. So we'll let you make your predictions. Rams and Eagles and Ravens Bills.
I think it's gonna be LA over Eagles and Buffalo over Baltimore. And more like I hope it's Lions and Baltimore. I mean Buffalo that make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but more likely it might be Kansas.
Yeah. Dude, it'll probably. I feel like we all know deep down it's probably going to just be another Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl, which sucks. But whatever, man. I'm not going to complain.
And I really want to see Buffalo and Lions because those both.
Yeah,
that's my pick.
I agree. I agree.
That would be, they've both been fighting so hard. Lions been there a couple of years. Didn't make it, and then they couldn't get it done when they had Megatron and Young Stanford, and then with Josh Allen and that team, they've been trying to get there too. I just think they both deserve it, so I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Buffalo. That's my team. I want to win the whole thing. Yeah,
right.
I want to see Buffalo and Detroit, like Pickle said. I would even be okay with Buffalo and the Commanders. Yeah, I'd be fine with that too.
Right.
Yeah, man. Hey, but Mr. Beef Toes, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on the Free For All again, man. Anytime,
thank y'all for having me, man. Y'all keep pounding.
Yeah, keep pounding, brother. Anytime.
Keep pounding.
Peace and love, later, man. Have the four of you picked LA and Philly yet?
No.
I don't believe so. Kyle, jump in there. Who you picking? The Rams. They're hot right now. The Rams are balling. Can they take out the Philadelphia Eagles, who probably have the best offensive line and defensive line?
I don't think the Rams have enough to beat the Eagles, no. So I think the Eagles are going to win that game.
All right, Deez, what say you, man?
I don't know that I necessarily agree with Kyle. I liked how Verse looked. Puka Nacua looked strong, along with Cooper Kupp as well. I didn't expect them to win that game. They looked a lot better than I expected them to. I think they've got something for Philadelphia. I think that if they can really get the pressure on Hurts, his play hasn't been the greatest of late. A lot of fans questioning Hurts' ability down the stretch and how he's doing physically. Maybe Hurts is a little banged up as well and not 100% himself. So I think LA's got a shot. I'll go ahead and pick them here for fun. I think LA can make this game interesting. But I just wanted to point out a conversation that me and you had last week about Saquon Barkley. I don't think it's fair that he wasn't really given the opportunity to win the MVP. I think that they should extend it into the playoffs. I think Saquon did a very noble thing and took that slide at the end of the game and didn't run it to the house for the Eagles for those extra yards and that extra touchdown. Plus, they sat him in that last game of the regular season, so he couldn't break that record that stood for 40 years. So I'm a big Saquon fan. For sure, and I think that he needed more consideration for the MVP. I think it's disrespectful to the running back position the way they put him there, and he doesn't have the chance to win that over the quarterbacks. But yeah, I'll take the Rams just for fun. I think Verse looked great. That pass rush by LA looked stronger than expected. That's a coach that's already won the Super Bowl. I'll give him a chance here in Philly, Cody.
Man,
Sean McVay was the name I was looking for. Sean McVay's won a Super Bowl before. He knows what it takes to lead this team back to it. So I'll go with it.
Yeah. Twan Don, Rams, Eagles.
I don't know, man. I can't call this game. This game is too evenly matched for me. And the reason why I can't call it is because of both of the teams' flaws and when they show up. I think this is going to be the toughest game, and this game very well comes down to a field goal. I really don't know. They're so evenly matched, but the situation between both teams is really based on the flaws that they present. So I really can't call this one. Sometimes it's knowledge and not being able to just, I'm just going to sit back and watch how this one unfolds. But I can't call it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Pickle, Rams, and Philly. Did you pick this one yet?
No, I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles come out on top. I haven't seen the Rams play as good as they did last week, except for last week. And they didn't win because of their offense. They won because of their defense. And I just don't see them doing that to Philly. I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. But I just don't see them doing that to Philly. I think they came in last week. They had a hidden agenda. They knew what they were doing. They wanted to punch everybody in the mouth. They got their wish. Life goes on. But I don't see them doing that to Philly and Philadelphia. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Oh, remember the disrespectful fan, the guy that got fired from his job because he was so ugly to the young lady there in the stands. Maybe they're gonna reap a little karma this week. The Eagles will, from the way their fans were acting.
Well, they could. But Eagles fans have done that for many years. They did beat up Santa Claus. I remember that they many years ago, if you wore an opposing team's jersey to Philadelphia, they literally beat the crap out of you, put you in the hospital. The Eagles gave that person tickets to another game, and the same thing happened in that second game. And I mean, I that was years ago, though. I have no sympathy for Eagles fans that act a fool. To me, that's got nothing to do with fanhood. That's got a lot to do with foolishness. But nonetheless,
probably the worst fan base in the NFL.
Hands down.
Yeah, last but not least, this is the game I'm looking forward to. The team I'm pulling for all the way to the Super Bowl now is the Buffalo Bills. They have so many former Panthers on that team, around that team. So, yeah, man, I'm picking Buffalo. Kyle, what say you, man? You picking Buffalo or the Ravens?
Ooh, that's going to be a very interesting game because it could either be a defensive shootout or an offensive shootout. It could be 17-14. It could be 38-36. It could go 100 different ways. In my opinion, that's going to be probably the best game of the weekend. I'm going to go Bills. I'm gonna say Josh Allen finally gets one done.
Awesome. Buffalo Bills, one for Kyle. Diesel Skills. This is a barn burner. What say you, man? Ravens or Bills?
It is a barn burner. I mean, this is Clash of the Titans 100% for the NFL. I can't think of anything more boring than the Buffalo Bills to win this game, go back up against Kansas City and lose once again. That would be the most boring thing ever to happen in the NFL. But we've seen it happen, 3 times before, Twan? Yeah. I heard the groan from Twan. Yep. I was like, I don't want to watch that again. I'm with you on that. I'll tell you what, man. I've watched a lot of Ravens game this year. They've got a lot of coverage in our area. They were resting King Henry earlier this year, not giving him all the carries, really giving him time to come along here at the end of the season and take over. And, buddy, we saw that last week. King Henry looked like the same Derrick Henry from 3 or 4 years ago. Just absolutely out here crushing it. I'm going to go ahead and give the Ravens a fighting chance because Lamar Jackson obviously winning his third MVP with that game we saw last week from him. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, I'm not betting against them. Buffalo Bills lost that number one wide receiver in the offseason. There was a lot of questions around would he have the targets, and Josh Allen's done a good job of making up for that loss. But I like Derrick Henry. I like the physicality of the Ravens. I like the 250-pound 300-pound fullback they have. I like the Ravens and their physicality in Buffalo to win this game and hopefully dethrone Mahomes. We'll see what happens.
All right, we will see what happens. He's got the Ravens.
Let me go right behind Diesel Skills. Everything Diesel Skills just said, man. It's all about looking into the future with this game as well, man. Do you really want to see Buffalo go up against Kansas City? I'm telling you right now, Buffalo can't beat Kansas City. They can't beat them. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to see Buffalo get another win, then okay, that's fine. But if you want to see them win at all, I don't see that coming. Hey, look, with Lamar Jackson and the run game over there with the Ravens and all of that, it's cold as hell. Nobody wants to damn tackle Henry. We saw that in the last game. Right now, everything is hitting with those guys this year, man. Lamar Jackson, look, I picked the Ravens to win it all this year because it just seems like it's clicking really, really easy for them right now. And that's one of the most dangerous teams to go up against. I don't think Kansas City can beat the Ravens in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're clicking too good right now. Look, man, I go back to Buffalo a long time ago when they went to the Super Bowl year after year after year after year. They couldn't get it done, man. I think that team is cursed for some reason. Also, call me petty or whatever, but I can never pull for the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs because of the reason with all the Carolina connections, taking all our players over there, what McDermott did and all of that. Never. I would never cheer for Carolina North, ever.
All right. Ever. That man said ever.
Never.
All right. I hear you.
Love that, Twan. What was it? Keep rumbling, Cody? Is that what you were posting about? Keep rumbling.
Bro.
That's so funny, bro. I agree with you 100%, Twan.
Panthers fans be forgetting that's Buffalo. That ain't Charlotte.
It's the closest thing that we're gonna get to one. That's all.
But it's not. But it's not because that's not our team.
No, you're right. I'm just saying this year. This is the team, man. I hope Brandon Bean and Sean McDermott get them one. That's all I'm saying.
They took everything from us, bro.
Flowers is not going to play in this game. He hasn't practiced all week. He was on a bike today at practice and had to get help getting off the bike. He's not practicing. He's not playing on this game. There's no way people are convinced me that the Ravens are going to win without him. King Henry's great. He is. It's in Buffalo. It's going to snow there. I don't think the weather affects with either one of them. I don't think Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pull for. I'm going to think Buffalo's going to get this done. I mean, effectively, all they've got to do is stop. If they do what they've been doing, the Ravens defense hasn't been super great this year. They've been okay. They haven't been normally shutout defense because it took them a while to figure out what they were doing defensively because they got a new coordinator. I just think Buffalo's going to pull it out this year. So,
yeah, that's what I'm hoping
for.
In this game.
I will challenge Pickle on this, man. I don't think Zay Flowers is the difference. I don't think they're missing.
Well, he had 1,000 and some yards, so
I remember I wanted to draft him.
He was leading. I mean, without him, Nelson Aguilar, what's he like 80 now?
Mm-hmm.
Rashad Bateman, Steven Sims, Javon Walker, and Tylan Wallace are the other receivers on the active roster. Anthony Miller is on the practice
Johnson
squad.
got picked up.
Who? Johnson?
Yeah, Johnson got picked
Yeah,
up.
but he won't. He can't. They're not. Yeah, but reports came out. They picked him up, but he won't. He can't. They're not award. The NFL, because of the new rules, they can't award him to the Ravens till after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he can't even go in their locker room.
Yeah.
He just can't sign with nobody else.
Let me ask you this though: would you rather chase around a bunch of receivers when it's cold as fuck, or would you rather tackle some running backs and guys like that? I think that the Ravens are going to go heavy run because of that.
Yeah, C1 and a lot of other teams I would agree with. But this is Buffalo Bills. They live up there. I don't think the cold's going to bother them that much. But at the same time, I'll throw this out there. King Henry played in Tennessee all them years, and it ain't nowhere. And 90% of the time, it's not Buffalo cold in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And so I'm not saying King Henry can't run. I'm really not. I just Lamar Jackson.
He gonna get his.
Only one, and in my calculations, and I may be wrong, he's only won 1 or 2 playoff games. I just can't see that he's going to go in there with no receiver help. The only help he's got is King Henry, and him and King Henry are going to ride off into the sunset. I just don't see them that happening. So I just don't.
Yeah. Listen, great round of playoffs. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's
about this weekend of playoff football. Right. Hey man, listen, I normally hate to end the pod on a somber note, and I can't go into all the details right now, boys, because it's not my place to say what's going on or what's happening. But if any of you are the praying type, we ask that you keep our brother D Money. Please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's been going through an incredibly trying time that has kind of just now come to light to a lot of us. This is kind of all happening kind of fast. Again, it's not my place to say what's happening, but it is a very serious thing. So if everybody would just please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and hug your loved ones, be with them, because tomorrow's not promised, boys, and it seems like we're reminded of that every single day. So, boys, I love you, man. I normally give everybody their outro here. I'm just going to do a real quick one so that way we can leave in honor of our boy, D Money. We love him. Pickle, appreciate you, brother. My man, Kyle, the brand ambassador, Diesel Skills, Twan Don. Gentlemen, I love you. Have a wonderful, happy, healthy weekend. And we will be back this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for another edition of the C3 Panthers Podcast. My name is Cody Lashley. C3 Legion. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.